Harley Dilly was a typical 14-year-old kid eagerly anticipating the end of school in December 2019. The air was filled with excitement for the holiday break, but little did anyone know this would be the last time Harley's family would ever see him alive. What happened to him shocked everybody. So Harley was like any other teenager looking forward to the holiday break. December 20th of 2019 was the last day of school before Christmas holidays, and Harley was excited. No more homework, no more classes, just time to relax and play video games. But when he didn't come home that afternoon, his mom was not immediately worried. They had been having some family friction lately, especially over a broken cell phone that was not going to be replaced. Harley really wanted that phone, but parents were like, no, we are not giving you one. So he was very upset about that. And Harley specifically had a habit of just running away when things didn't go his way. So his mom thought he must be spending the nights at a friend's place cooling off. But when Saturday morning arrived and there was no sign of Harley, the concern grew. They waited until nearly midnight to report him missing. This delay in reporting raised some eyebrows with the police. They thought it was odd that the family hadn't called for help sooner, especially given that Harley was not the kind of kid who could just fend for himself for long. The entire town of Port Clinton, Ohio was thrown into chaos. The police launched a full-scale search, talking to everyone who might have seen Harley canvassing the neighborhood and checking every possible lead. They even brought in the FBI, the State Highway Patrol, and other agencies to help. But after weeks of searching, it was as if Harley had vanished off the face of the earth. The only clue they had was a blurry image from a neighbor's CCTV camera showing Harley in his maroon puffer jacket and grey sweatpants walking away from his house. As the days turned into weeks, the case began to go cold. Theories about what might have happened to Harley began to surface. Did he run away? Was he kidnapped? Did something happen at home? The police explored every possibility, but they found no concrete evidence to support any of these theories. The investigation seemed to be stuck in a rut. Then after 3 weeks of dead ends, the police decided to revisit the case from scratch. Chief Hickman, who had been on the case from the start, and a new investigator named Lowry went back to Harley's home. They decided to recheck the empty house directly across the street, which had been undergoing renovations for quite some time. The house was dusty and locked up, but they figured it was worth a look. And here's where the story takes a dark turn. As Lowry and the team explored the empty house, they discovered something unexpected. A maroon puffer jacket identical to the one Harley was wearing in the surveillance video. Along with that jacket, they found other items belonging to Harley. His shirt and his glasses. It was eerie, as if Harley had been there. But the question was, how did he get there and where was he now? To understand this better, we have to revisit the morning of December 20th. Harley was upset. He wanted to stay home from school, but his mom said no, so he decided to skip school and hang out at the empty house across the street. The house was locked up, but Harley noticed an antenna tower. He thought he could climb up to the roof and maybe find a way in. So Harley made his way to the roof and spotted the chimney. The chimney was narrow, very narrow, a bit wider than a piece of paper, but Harley was small for his age, so he figured he could fit. I'm sure you can put 2 and 2 together and see where this is going. So he shined his flashlight down the chimney and saw it was very clear all the way to the bottom. With his curiosity and confidence, he decided to slide down and enter the house through the fireplace. He went down feet first, hands raised to protect his head. The descent was about 15 feet and there were no handholds in the chimney. His jacket and shirt were pulled up as he slid, making the situation even more uncomfortable. When he reached the bottom, he met with an awful surprise. There was no fireplace. Instead, the chimney was a vent for a wood stove, and it was completely sealed off. There was no way out except to climb back up the narrow, slick shaft. He must have panicked immediately. Harley tried to shimmy out of his jacket and hoodie, desperate to make some room. He found 2 small vent holes above his head and managed to push his clothes through them to get some air. But he was trapped with no way to climb back up. His shoes and socks were gone, and he tried to use the vent holes to pull himself up, but there was no way to get any leverage. Exhaustion quickly set in. Harley's oxygen levels began to drop, and it became increasingly difficult for him to breathe. It's actually heart-wrenching to even think about the fear and panic he must have felt as he realized the gravity of his situation. He was all alone, and the realization of his mistake must have been terrifying. After 23 days, the investigation team finally re-examined the empty house in detail. They found Harley's clothes and glasses near one of the vent holes. One of the investigators reached his hand into the vent hole and to his horror touched Harley's hair. It was a chilling moment that confirmed the worst fears. Harley was stuck in the chimney chamber, and the team brought in an excavation crew to open the walls and retrieve him. They found Harley's body in the chimney chamber. He was discovered with his arms raised, trapped in a position that showed he had been trying to escape but couldn't. The official cause of death was comprehensive asphyxiation. He was unable to get enough air to breathe, and eventually there was no oxygen in his system, so he died. Harley's story is a heartbreaking tale of a young boy's tragic accident and the impact it had on his family and community. Sometimes the smallest decisions can have the most devastating consequences. And that brings us to the end of this story, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and also learned something from Harley's story. I will see you guys soon with another story. Until then, stay safe out there and goodbye.